The rise and fall of Blake Griffin's career. It's pretty clear at this point that Blake Griffin is at the tail end of his NBA career, and in this video we're going to go over the rise and fall of Blake Griffin's great career. But quickly before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports, I make opinionated NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. But anyways, let's get into it.
I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetic.
Blake Griffin was originally drafted with the #1 overall selection all the way back in the 2009 NBA season by the LA Clippers. And going into that draft, Blake Griffin was not only seen as a very good player and certainly a worthy #1 overall selection, but he was also seen as potentially one of the best players in the NBA one day. That was a kind of hype that was around Blake Griffin's name going into the NBA. But unfortunately for Blake Griffin and the LA Clippers, Blake in the final game of the preseason went down with a broken left kneecap and had to have surgery on it, which kept him out for his entire rookie season. Now, of course, when any player goes down with a significant injury that would hold him out for the entire season, it's always devastating no matter what, but it was especially devastating to a guy like Blake Griffin for two different reasons. The first reason was because Blake was only in his rookie season and didn't actually play any games yet, and of course no player wants to start off their NBA career that way, being out their entire rookie season. But the next reason for why this was especially devastating for Blake was due to the fact that Blake heavily relied on his athleticism in order to play at a high level, and whenever a player like that starts to have issues with their lower half, of course it's never good for them. But luckily for Blake Griffin and the LA Clippers, after Blake healed from his injuries during his rookie season, he came into his second season, which was technically his rookie season, absolutely showing no ill effects of those injuries. In Blake's technical rookie season, he averaged around 22 points per game on 50% shooting, 12 rebounds per game, and 4 assists. Just phenomenal numbers for Blake in his rookie year. Now, although Blake was putting up absolute phenomenal numbers in his rookie year and certainly was living up to the hype at that point, the one major knock on Blake's game was his shooting ability, or lack thereof. In his rookie season, Blake was doing a phenomenal job at doing most of his damage around the basket, either in terms of getting some crazy posterizing dunks that we've seen a lot of in his rookie year, or also finishing around players with very athletic layups as well. But besides finishing around the basket, Blake didn't necessarily have all that much else to his game in terms of his individual scoring ability. And it was somewhat apparent after Blake's rookie season that he needed to add somewhat of a jump shot within his game to take his game to the next level. But of course, this wasn't necessarily something that happened overnight for Blake. He had to tinker with his jump shot a little bit until he got to the position that he was comfortable with, and then season after season, Blake really put a ton of effort and work into his jump shot shooting, especially during the offseason, and you could see somewhat of an improvement for Blake's shooting ability each and every year. And eventually, due to all the hard work that Blake was putting in during the offseason and even during the season as well, he got to a point where he was not only a really good mid-range shooter, but he was actually money from that area. And the fact that Blake was willing to put all that work in after he was already a very good player early on into his rookie season, that really showed the type of player that Blake was and really showed his determination to continuously get better and not settle at the level that he currently was, which is exactly what you want to look for as one of the cornerstone pieces of your organization. And really around that 2014 or 2015 NBA season, that's around where Blake's mid-range jump shot became money, and he was starting to expand that range all the way out to that three-point area. Although he wasn't necessarily taking a lot of threes per game, he was starting to improve that shot a little bit. And in that 2014 season, Blake shot an incredible 40% from three, but I think that was really an aberration that year. And after that season, he shot 33%, 33 again, 34, 34, and then 36%. But even if Blake was shooting around 33% on average from deep, that was still much better than he was shooting prior, because prior he was only shooting around 12% during his rookie season, then 17%, then 27%. So it really just showed a great improvement in terms of Blake's jump shot shooting in general. But the great thing about Blake Griffin is he didn't necessarily stop at just improving his jump shot shooting. Blake also did a phenomenal job at significantly improving his ball handling ability as well, which is something that's pretty unique, especially for a guy that's had that power forward position, and especially back then. But Blake was doing so in order to give him an ability to really take players off the dribble and drive all the way to the basket, using his great size, strength, and athleticism to get to the spots that he wanted to and dunk over players like that as well. And overall it just made Blake's life a lot easier having that increased ball handling ability. Blake also did a phenomenal job at improving his passing and playmaking ability, especially from the high post. He did a phenomenal job at finding open teammates either in the corner for a wide open catch and shoot 3-point shot, maybe driving all the way to the basket for an easy dunk or layup. And overall Blake was just a very good passer for that power forward position. And Blake at that point was going from a player that was just a very athletic guy and certainly was a very talented guy but was pretty raw offensively to a guy who was very talented and basically was very versatile offensively. Now, although it was pretty clear that once on the court, Blake was a very talented player and was continuously improving his game season after season, the one big issue with Blake was actually staying on the court, specifically during the playoffs. And this was one of the biggest reasons for why the Clippers weren't necessarily able to do much once they made it to the playoffs, but during the regular season, the Clippers season after season were just playing phenomenal basketball and clearly looked like one of the best teams in the NBA, but once it came down to the playoffs, their two main players in Blake Griffin and Chris Paul continuously went down each and every playoffs with certain injuries. And due to those factors, they were just never able to make it as far as they would have liked once they got to the playoffs. There were a bunch of seasons where the Clippers looked primed to at the very least compete for an NBA championship, but they always came up short due to injuries mostly. And although once Blake was on the court for the most part, he was playing very well, some fans started to get a little concerned with Blake Griffin's durability. And during the 2017 NBA season, the Clippers actually decided to trade away Blake after giving him a crazy 5-year extension to the Pistons in a pretty shocking move. And unfortunately, this is where Blake's career really started going downhill. In the 2018 NBA season, which was Blake's first full season with the Pistons, he played extremely well during the regular season, where he averaged around 25 points per game on 46% shooting, 7.5 rebounds, and also adding 5.4 assists to his game as well. Just a phenomenal year during the regular season. But once again, once it was coming down to the playoffs, Blake went down with another injury, but this time it was a pretty significant knee injury, and this was starting to have an effect on Blake's actual game after this year. And in the 2019 NBA season, Blake only averaged around 15 points per game on a really bad 35% shooting from the field, 4.7 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. But the major issue, even besides the stats, was the fact that he only played 18 games that season due to another issue with that same knee, and at that point, it was really starting to become an issue for Blake. And during the 2020 NBA season, Blake Griffin's numbers went down even more, and it was really just becoming apparent that Blake was nowhere near the type of player that he was before, and these injuries were having a real effect on him. And during that season, Blake only played around 20 games for the Pistons until he was eventually bought out by the Pistons and signed with the Nets later that season. And originally, at the time when Blake signed with the Nets after he was bought out, NBA fans were going crazy over the fact that the Nets were getting another all-star type guy, but it became pretty apparent early on into his career with the Nets that Blake was just clearly not the same guy that he was in the past, and that season with the Nets he only averaged around 10 points per game on only 21 minutes, and this season for the Nets he's only averaging around 6.5 points per game. And unfortunately at this point it's pretty clear that Blake Griffin's career is in decline, and I don't necessarily think he'll ever be able to get to that point that he was in the past. And overall the biggest reason for this decline from Blake was injuries, like it is for a lot of NBA players. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think was the reason for Blake Griffin's decline? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these two videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.
Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetic. Hope you can't go where I'm headed.